Yeah, man. Once again, welcome to Wakati Avenue. It's your boy Alfred, and I hope you guys been well. Yeah, and today's video is entitled "Never Trust Anyone Who Is on Survival Mode." Never trust anyone who is in survival mode. Now, this could be survival mode means that person really is in a state of a majority of the time is emotional, right? He is either he's not right in the head at that moment, at least, because he has to survive. Probably has no money, has no food, or is just unstable, really, right? It could be the fact that he's broke at that moment, or is just broke, or something has happened that he's out of his hands and he cannot control it. Sometimes it's just a straight out laziness, not willing to work for whatever he wants or she wants in this matter. Yeah, and straight out laziness or anything like that. Then they go down to survival mode. And the problem with this really is that once a person's on survival mode, they tend to do just about anything to overcome that situation. So some will even throw their principles away, some their morals away. That won't mean anything when it comes to survival mode. None of that means anything, right? Which is natural, right? I don't really, I don't fault them for that because, hey, you're on survival mode, you have to survive. But the way we live right now, there's really no need for any of that, right? You can't tell me that a man is going to get hungry and shit while trying to better his life, right? When someone is bettering his life, right? Yeah, the first few steps as you're taking, yeah, they're gonna be some hardships. Now don't get me wrong. Survival mode really is someone going through hardship. However, he does not really try to solve that problem such that it does not occur in a frequent basis. So he does not really try to solve that problem for the long term, in the long term of it. So he wants to solve that problem with whatever he can solve at that moment, and he doesn't really care if it's done or it comes about again, which that's the bigger problem, because if you know that a situation is about to occur, right, and maybe that situation has occurred before, then the best thing to do is try and get a permanent solution to that. This brings us back to what I'm saying, that you can't trust such people because they're only short-sighted. They only see today. They don't want to see tomorrow. That's why they're on survival mode. That's the whole meaning of survival mode. The one that can only survive today. Now, if this is an occurring thing, it's frequent, it becomes a problem for others, because it's when the people start borrowing cash for no fucking reason, just to eat. But at the end of the day, they lie, and then what they do is they get into other situations like drugs and alcohol and shit. All that is survival mode. Sometimes then that's when survival mode will take you to do things like break into houses, steal from people, do all sort of nonsense because you want to survive. You have to survive at that moment. But the bigger problem is that you're not willing to get freaking solutions to your problems. And that's why you should never trust anyone who's on survival mode, because the only time they're trying to get solution is at that moment, right? At that moment. Because if you do try and tell them that, hey, listen, there's this and this solution to your problem, they don't want to listen, which is a bigger problem. Why don't you want to listen to a solution that will be a long-term solution to your problem? So they don't want that. So if someone does not want that, then why would you want to help them? Giving them cash does not help them. Giving them shelter or whatever does not, if that does not help them, nothing really will. Right? Nothing will, because at the end of the day, someone has to solve their own problems. And if they ask for if they ask for your solutions, and you give them proper good solutions, and they're not going to listen, they're not going to act upon it, then you cannot really do anything else. Because when that sort of situation comes about towards them again, it's obviously going to affect them again. Now the bigger problem is that many people trust people easily, and when they do that, that situation does come, and usually does, then guess what happens? The problems occur again, and then they get back into whatever situation that has occurred, and it's going to occur again, because those people are not willing to solve their situations. They're not. Yeah, so I don't mind the change of scenario, background. I had to change and relocate. So let's get back into what I was saying. So what was I getting at? I was getting at the fact that people in survival mode, right? Well, most of the time, they're willing to drop everything. Drop their morals, drop their principles just to survive. Like I said before, I don't really falter that. But the bigger problem is that it will affect you. It will affect you. If they have to steal, they'll have to steal. If they have to rob, they'll have to rob. If they have to lie, they're going to lie. And that becomes a problem for you if you're close to such people, right? Who are always in survival mode, who are trying to survive in certain situations, trying to get away from certain situation just to survive. The broke people are used to stealing. Certain people who get broke, their survival mode tactic is to steal, right? If they want to get something out of you, they lie. So you really can't trust that sort of person, because they're going to affect you in some way, right? And at times, the bigger problem may also be that they may get you into trouble. You think you're helping someone, right? You think that, okay, you're giving that person a certain, maybe money, let's say. You're giving that person money only to go out there and use that money in a not such a wise way. Buy drugs, alcohol, then they get into trouble, they get you into trouble. So that's another reason not to trust people in survival mode, because all they're thinking about is today. They're not thinking about tomorrow, they're not thinking about the next day. They're thinking about, how am I going to survive today? Now, we all go through this, but majority of the times, right, these are things that we go through in life. We have to survive, we learn how to survive. Not everyone will be able to survive without neglecting their moral, without giving away their principles. Not everyone, I get it, right? But if someone can't hold on to those things, right, at least for the longest as he can, right, or especially as a man, if that man cannot do that, it means he's easily compromised, and that's another problem. You can't trust that person. He's easily compromised. You're easily compromised. If you decide to have a power group, right, you decide to create a power group, a sort of mastermind sort of power group. Now, if someone in that power group, right, is easily compromised, he gets himself in a sticky situation, and then he probably gets secrets out, or he tells things that he's not supposed to tell about the power group. What do you think happens? The power group would crumble, only because that certain person wasn't able to stand his ground. It becomes a problem. So you don't want to associate with such people who you have to be, and the whole thing of this is right, is to be able also to vent such people out. The more you grow up, the more you become much more of a man. You want to know if people are going to be loyal. Because listen, man, without loyal people around you, right, people who are going to snitch on you, people who are going to easily give up your secrets and the knowledge that you have that's meant for certain people, then you really cannot. You're not going to create that empire you want to create. You're not going to create those. You're not really going to be able to create that legacy. Because legacy, man, means that you have to stand firm on what you believe on. But if you're constantly in survival mode and you associate yourself with people who are such way and bring them into your power group, your empire, then you're going to have problems. Now, I'm not saying that don't associate with them, just declare such. You may have people who are friends, right? People who are also your family. But the gist of it is not to trust them, especially with things that you're not supposed to be trusting them with. Don't do it. You rather keep certain things to yourself. Right? Not everything should be mentioned. Not everything should be told. Not everyone should be in your presence. Not everyone should be in your proximity. Right? Not everyone should be in your castle. Not everyone deserves to be in your kingdom. Most people won't understand you. That's cool. They do not need to understand you. You're creating this for you. You're creating this for your own good. It's your situation. It's your castle. It's your empire. It's your kingdom. If you're gonna bring people who can easily sink the boat, then what's the whole point of doing that? What's the whole point of creating a legacy in your kingdom? And this goes for not trusting not just women who are such so, but also men, especially men. Men are notorious for such things. Very notorious. Sleazy and snitches. But also, you need to know how to vent such people. Learn how to vent them. The only way to do this is to associate yourself with such people, right? And then learn, okay. Then as time goes, you learn, okay, this is not the type of person that's going to be in my life. Especially if you start young, man, in your 20s. You're going to filter the people out automatically. And you're going to separate naturally. The reasons that you separate from people, the reason that you leave certain people behind, because you want to upgrade your life. You want to go up in life. But not everyone can come. Why? Because not everyone will be able to survive where you're going. They're not. Whether you like it or not. Even your best friend, even your own twin brother can actually not be able to survive where you're going. Then they become in survival mode. So that's how it goes. Making sure that people who surround you are not in survival mode, especially when it attains to your own personal growth, your own personal situations. Those are not the type of people you're going to associate with. You can associate with them if you're doing some anything that's like doesn't really affect your empire or whatever you're trying to create that much. But for example, if you're going to create a business for such people, you're not going to make it. You're not. If you're going to create a life that's concrete, you're not. But if maybe you just want to go out there, maybe have some fun, or just associate with people who were in a group trying to get fit, it's okay, because it's not that important that you have to associate with such people. No, you can just do that in the regular, right? Or just do it once in a blue moon, whatever situation that you want to be in, right? I do that, right? But when it concerns things that are crucial, things that I know that will affect the rest of my life, I never associate with such people, man. Unless that person really is so sleazy, he represents himself in a manner that I think, okay, this guy is cool. Hey, it's my bad though. that mistake is on me. But I make sure I cut him off as fast as I can when I find out that no, he's not the real McCoy. He's not the real deal. Cut him off real quick. You should do the same. So I must stop there, man. It's been your boy Alfred reminding you that never associate yourself with people in survival mode. They're untrustworthy and they're snitches, and they will crumble your empire if you allow them to do so. That said, man, until next time, peace.